The towers in Paragon are at best a joke. The damage they put out is so low. Supports and carries are able to run around under them like it means nothing even in the early game. We're talking about the roles with the least health out there tower diving before the 2-minute mark. Paragon is indeed its own MOBA and its own game. It doesn't have to work like other MOBAs and the rules that they've set. They don't have to apply to Paragon. And we do know that match time is something Epic have been fighting to fix, trying to make the average match time last about 30 minutes. And they actually managed it back in Legacy somewhat, but with Monolith and the world of changes that came with it, the match times are a bit up in the air. So making towers pathetic is a very simple and easy way to lower match times. If they aren't very effective, that means you can kill players easier and destroy the towers faster too, which then leads to shorter game times. The problem is, this is not a very fun solution at all. At the core, Paragon is meant to be a fun experience, right? So can you say it's fun when a few minutes in the game, the jungler and the duo lane just walk past the tier 1 tower, murdering your solo lane who is already far back? That doesn't feel very fair at all to me. And the same can be said about ganks in mid lane, or wherever in that early game. Then as the game progresses, the towers become less and less relevant. Maybe for some crazy reason you don't believe this. Maybe you disagree, and for whatever reason, you think towers are doing enough damage. Here's footage from my recent livestream in which a rampage runs through my jungle and dives under an inhibitor very early in the game, and the tier 2 and tier 1 tower was still alive. And yet, he shrugs it off like it was nothing and lands the kill on me. Yeah, I was pretty mad about that one. If we think about the damage towers do to minions, I think that's fine. You know, in the interest of match time, I like how fast or slow that they kill the minions. But I simply don't think they do enough damage to players specifically. It makes for a good gameplay if you can poke under a tower and hit that final 1 or 2 hits before the target escapes. You know, that's fine. A little tower dive and then get out. But we're talking about when you can run around the tower, taking hit after hit after hit, and no one bats an eye. That's just fucking weird. That's just stupid. There used to be this fantastic mechanic in which towers had bonus damage. Basically, if someone stepped under the range of a tower, let's say the tier 2 tower, while the previous tower was still alive in that lane, then the tier 2 tower would begin to hit like a truck with its bonus damage, punishing the players for being callous or aggressive and so deep into the enemy territory. This led to some awesome high-level plays in which players could bait the enemies into their bonus buff towers with knockbacks and pushes. There was a fantastic play I used to make when holding my inhibitor. As Sevarog, I'd attempt to ult my target into one of the other inhibs. Ideally, you know, one that had the previous tower still up so that the bonus damage was still active. It was really fun and satisfying because I'd knock their carry or someone important into that inhib and it would blast away a good chunk of their health, maybe even kill them. And it was a skillful way to hold my inhibitor. As they say, make a big play, right? That has people losing their shit and spamming that good job command for its real purpose. And now, here's what towers look like these days. What a joke, man. What a fucking joke. I could understand if that guy was in his ultimate, you know, regenning like crazy as rampages do, and maybe if he was under the towers or inhibs rather for half the time he actually was, but no, he was there for that fucking long, running around, out of ult mode, unreal. He could walk around just like any character could. He didn't have to be rampage there, being barely tickled by the towers. And not to mention, don't forget, he actually walked under an inhib that should have had bonus damage at the start because the tier 2 was still alive. But because that mechanic's gone, it did nothing to him. Alright, I think I've made my point now. Hopefully you agree with me based on the evidence that I've shown. Monolith is a new, better platform for Paragon to build itself on. And that is great. I am really happy with the new direction of the game. It's honestly really fun. but it's still currently in its first state. You know, we need a major patch to start pushing Monolith in the right direction. There's a variety of things I believe they should do to achieve this, and I'm sure many more that I've never mentioned before too. We all have different opinions on that topic, you know, how to improve Monolith. Some are a little bit more silly than others, let's say, but all I want is Epic to start pushing out regular updates to buff up the heroes who are too weak, improve the visuals of Monolith, which are very lacking currently, and to fix the towers. Yes, there's way more than just those 3 things they need to do, but to me, those are the main ones and a good few to start with. Again, I love Paragon, I really enjoy the game, and I understand that this might come across as like negative, and I'm not trying to create a negative video. I just think constructive feedback and criticism is really important to improving Paragon. My conclusion is this: keep the tower health the same. It works out well, you know, but for God's sake, make the towers hit slightly harder on players specifically, and bring back that bonus damage towers would get when the previous tower was still alive. It was a good mechanic, and I have no idea why they removed it. This is, of course, up for discussion. You might agree with me or disagree with me, so let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Let's try to keep it as constructive as possible, please. I know some people like to hate on Monolith for what I believe are silly reasons, but I know that we have some reasonable people out there, and I would love to hear your thoughts. Thank you again for watching and listening. More Paragon on the channel soon. Goodbye for now.